Hello, my name is Richard Wilson, and this short video is going to review some hedge fund career advice and job search advice. I'm the head of the Hedge Fund Group Networking Association. We offer a hedge fund training and certification program, and I also write daily in hedgefundblogger.com. So first off, let's start with the very basics. If you're completing a job search and you have work experience, you may know exactly what type of hedge fund position you're aiming for, and you might know what you want to do, what type of firm you want to work for. If you don't already know that, before following the advice in this video, I would recommend that you probably spend some time reading some books on hedge funds, or even easier, you could just simply go to hedgefundblogger.com and review the free videos, look at the free career articles, download our free ebook, or you can go to hedgefundscareer.com and read about different types of hedge fund careers there as well. I'd really encourage you to try to narrow down exactly what type of career you would like and what type of goals you have during your job search before you go out applying for positions, or you'll get into a job interview and they'll ask you why you're applying for that position, and your answer is not really going to resonate with them. When they're interviewing 20 different people, it becomes obvious who really wants the job and who has thought through the process of why they'd like to work in that position. Okay, next, I'd like to just go through, a process you can follow during your hedge fund career search. I know that this process works because it's the process that I used to get into the industry several years ago. So let's go to hedgefundcertification.com. Here is our hedge fund certification and training program website. In the top right hand corner, there's a resources tab. Go down to hedge fund career resources, click on that. This opens up our library of career resources. So you'll see several resources listed here. The first one is an article I wrote for Investopedia.com last year on 10 steps you can take to manage your hedge fund career. So let's go there real quick. Okay. Now let's skip down here. Number one, we already covered this. Make sure that you really do want to work for a hedge fund and try to figure out what part of the industry is going to make the most sense for your skill set, what you're passionate about, what your education and past experience has been. It's an important first step because it can help you focus your career search on a very small niche of the industry and can save you, potentially months of networking with the wrong people. Down here, step number 2, become a student of the industry. Subscribe to 5 free newsletters on hedge funds, read 4 or 5 books on hedge funds, read articles about the area you're most interested in, go to networking events. You should really try to learn as much as you can about the industry, terms people use, strategies that hedge funds use for investments, what challenges the industry is facing. All this is going to help make sure that the industry is right for you, but also it's going to help you when you're interviewing and help you work more efficiently once you're on the job. Step 3 down here is the 3-circle strategy. This is a business strategy put forward by Jim Collins in his book Good to Great. In his research, he found that businesses who made consistent, great decisions often considered 3 things when they're looking to make a decision. They looked at what ideas would fit your passions or what you're interested in doing. They looked at what ideas would be highly profitable, and then they looked at what other ideas really be a fit with your kind of DNA and what you're naturally good at doing. So when you're looking at a hedge fund position, make sure that you're not just going after a position that pays the most money. Almost every position in the hedge fund industry pays very well, after you gain some experience. So I really encourage you to figure out what would be the best match between your background, but also your interests, and where those 3 areas kind of combine for you in the industry. All right, 4, identify some hedge fund career mentors. While you're mentoring or networking in the industry, try to keep an eye out for people at networking events, potentially service providers or consultants who are very well connected and very knowledgeable about the industry, and see if they'd meet with you just once or twice for coffee. If you could send them an email once a quarter for just a couple sentences of advice on what you should do next. It's important not to overwhelm people who mentor you with 5-paragraph long essays asking for advice and telling them your life story. Sometimes you can get through that quickly over coffee, but over email it just becomes an annoyance to most busy professionals. So try to keep the advice very pointed and straightforward. If you have a question, figure out exactly how you can word it concisely so that you can get the most value out of them, while they don't have to spend a whole lot of time with you, because if they're a valuable mentor, then they're usually very, very busy. Complete one or more internships. I definitely recommend looking to work for a fund as soon as possible, even if it's a hedge fund startup and you're helping them just complete market research, complete research on their competitors, put their information into online databases for them. Anything you can do so you can get familiar with how a fund works, how they normally operate, how their investment process works, how they manage risk in the portfolio, how they raise capital for the fund. There's a lot of things that you just kind of pick up by being around them that you don't get if you're just always searching for your dream job but never working within an internship. Develop your unique value proposition. If you have a master's degree or you've completed internships in the past, and it's very important to figure out what makes you really different from everybody else who's applying for jobs. And everybody who goes to a firm is going to say that they want to be there long term, that they're very hardworking, that they only want to work in this position. So you have to think of something really unique, and that's usually based on internship experience or insights you have on the industry. And the trick here is to sound unique and valuable without overselling yourself. Many people are so desperate to get a job in the hedge fund industry, they might say that they're an expert trader when they've only been trading for a year or two, or that they can produce 30% returns forever, even though they've only been trading for a couple of years in a very small portfolio. So it's important to balance, having something unique to offer and not overselling yourself, because that'll be obvious to most hedge fund employers. Step 7, here's some hedge fund job tips. There's certain things that employers will look for. Having passion and experience in marketing and sales can help if you're looking for a capital raising role, or if you're working for a small hedge fund and you're going to be wearing many hats. Having heavy quantitative experience in modeling and just being familiar with all the terms and ratios that are often used in modeling and evaluating portfolios can be something highly useful. Many hedge fund employers look for highly educated professionals. It does not mean that you have to go to an Ivy League institution. It just means that you put in the hard work to complete your bachelor's degree, or that you put in the extra work to complete your MBA or complete your JD. I think that means a lot to many employers, because it shows that you're not flaky, and you're organized, and you follow through on what you commit to. Step 8 is probably the most important step in the process. You should really consider unadvertised hedge fund jobs. Go and network with hedge funds, ask them for a job, ask if you can be fit into their organization, ask if you can prove yourself. This is the most overlooked opportunity in the industry. Most people only look for jobs that are being advertised, and I think that's the absolute wrong approach. Every single job I've ever gotten was unadvertised, and I landed it by being proactive and proving myself as someone that was worth a lot to that organization. Step 9, don't rule out service providers. You can work for a service provider and gain some experience within trading, prime brokerage, risk management, investment research, or marketing and sales. And then with that experience, you could go work inside of a hedge fund later, or you could act as a consultant or keep on working for a service provider in the industry. And step 10, apply for the jobs. Oftentimes, you can kind of get into paralysis mode, or there's information overload, you don't know where to apply, you don't think they'd ever hire you, but be proactive and apply for the positions you do see online, and also apply for those, like I said, that were unadvertised. So those are the main tips in this article for managing your hedge fund career search. It's called 10 Steps to a Career in Hedge Funds. And again, if you want to access this, just go to hedgefundcertification.com, go up to hedge fund resources, and then down to hedge fund career resources. And we'll be adding more articles here and videos over the next 2 to 3 weeks. So check back soon, and we'll have more content available for you. Thank you for your time.